Is it working?
Good afternoon.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Lizzie.
I'm Sean.
And we are from Pashta Design.
It's good to have you here with us today, wherever you are, however you may be watching. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We're going to be stitching live.
Oh my gosh, we are going to be stitching live.
And today, we are using our Sweet Treats donut die.
Oh, our Sweet Treats donut die today?
Indeed.
Okay.
It's Mother's Day is coming. And as far as I am concerned, mamas love donuts.
Mamas do love donuts. That's true. But everybody loves donuts.
Well, but yes.
Everyone's making themselves known in the chat. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Hello,
Victoria,
friends.
Deb, Shelly, Shahrazad's here. We're ready to go.
Did not turn on my Do Not Disturb.
My Do Not Disturb is on. Yours was off?
Yes.
We have nothing that we think is going to disturb us.
No.
No.
Not unless some crazy weather event happens.
I'm disturbed by this thread, which of course is yellow and so thin that it's difficult to see on the camera. But you know me, I love a prop.
He does.
Yeah, I love a prop.
He does love a prop.
Uh-huh.
So today, we are going to make... These are donuts that I did back when the die was introduced. And so, I've pulled them out to have my own props today.
There they go. Pearsall's in the house, everybody. And Rhonda and Joanne and Lally. We got so many people here today.
Hello, friends.
Thanks for saying hi. If you're in the chat and you're not saying hello, shame.
Sean takes that personally.
Shame on you. I take that personally. You don't have to say much. Just, let me know you're here. I want a sense of the audience here.
Yes.
Yeah. Just need a sense of that.
All right. So, donuts.
This is what the
die.
Yeah, that's what the donut die looks like.
This is the donut die here.
Wow, look at that.
There are some donuts that I have made with the donut die.
So beautiful.
Originally the die was intended to have like the layer and the swizzle on the layer, but you can do it on the donut itself.
Oh.
I'm going to show you that today. You can do it a couple of different ways, but
okay.
I'm going to show you that as
How many donuts do you think you're stitching today?
I'm going to do the fronts of the 3.
Uh-huh.
But we'll probably only finish one whole.
Okay, if you say so.
That's the
Lots of people saying hello now. I guess I shamed them into it. Bonnie and Mary Kobe and Elaine and Kelly. So many people here.
So many friends.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So which donut do we want to start with today?
I have no idea. I'm trying to separate my thread. I got my own stitching to do.
Sean has his own stitching to do. Let's start with this one here. This is the intended fancy pants donut from this set. And I'm just now realizing I'm using pretty much exactly the same colors as I did on the original one. I'm going to use the petal dot because while we do not have it in the store right this moment, it is imminent. So
imminent?
Isn't it?
Wow.
I mean, we've pre-sold some of it, so...
Okay. Well, I don't know that I would use the word... I don't know what imminent means exactly, but I would check with the editors at the editing desk.
I guess I should have checked with my editor first. Anyway,
that's okay.
We're going to use the petal dot.
And you're doing the fanciest donut first? Is that what I heard you say?
Well, it's not... I mean, it's...
I know that fancy is a relative word.
I'm going to show how to do beading on this one, so I didn't want to start with this one.
Okay.
We're going to do the frosted donut with the swizzle.
Okay.
First.
I think you just teased that you're beading later. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to have to stick around if they want to see some beading stuff.
Yes, because usually when I'm doing beading stuff, I do it with my regular needle. But we're going to use bugle beads, and those really do... I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, we're going to get into the beading needle today.
Yes, we're going to use a beading needle.
Oh, wow. Everybody stay tuned. Circle your calendar. Holy smokes.
All right, so let's start here. Now, to do this donut with the frosted layer and the swizzle, you need to cut one of the top donut.
Okay.
One of the solid donut. One of the frosted layer. And then one of each of the swizzle pieces.
Got it.
But then once you cut your frosted layer, so here's a frosted layer that I have not cut with the swizzle.
Okay.
You're going to take this, which is the holes only for the swizzle, and you're going to line it up so that all of the little scallopy bits and frosting ridges, they all match up with the base here.
Okay.
And that will help you perfectly place your swizzle so that you get it exactly where you want it.
Got it. Okay.
So that is why this die has kind of a funny shape and that has way more base than you think it needs. That's because it is to help you.
Trying to make sure you get that lined up.
Line it up.
That's so thoughtful.
Well.
So thoughtful of you.
It's more that I personally don't want to have to fight with things. So, all right. So we're going to start here with our swizzle.
That's what we're going to do.
Now.
Wait, before you go any further, do we spell donut just D-O-N-U-T or is it D-O-U-G-H? Which is it?
D-O-N-U-T is fine.
Are you sure? Okay, I'm spelling it two different ways here in the description. So I don't want to go any further unless I know how I'm supposed to spell it. You want D-O-N-U-T-S.
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
That's how they spell it. Do they spell that in the UK that way or do they? Okay.
I don't have any idea.
Okay, I have no idea.
Who spells what where, but I know that there was a giant donut sign down on OSU's campus and it was D-O-N-U-T-S. And that is good enough for me. Okay. So you're going to start by finding one of your swizzles to start with.
Okay.
We are stitching it onto the layer itself.
Yeah.
As opposed to stitching the layer down first because the holes are on this layer. They are not on this layer. So that is why. So we're going to start on, I like to start on the end because if you start over here, you're going to have a knot to deal with on that inner circle, and nobody likes a knot to deal with. So we're starting on the end of this swizzle. I'm just going to do a running stitch to get this on here. I'm using my match for our Tundra. This is Tundra, and that is 3865.
3865.
And I'm using 3 strands.
Okay.
Have I forgotten any details that I never remember?
I don't think you have. I'm just making sure that we're on camera here because I know where you're sitting today is kind of on the far right hand side. I can't go any further to the right with the camera. So the way you're shifted there.
I shall shift towards the center.
That's okay. That looks great.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not always great at keeping myself in the
I've got the shot in extra tight today so they can see all the little icing
I know, there are small details
and donut details on these, okay? Not unlike the other sweet treats that we have. We have many sweet treats dies. We have a whole collection, really, at this point in time. It's not just donuts where we come from. You could, you maybe you like cupcakes a little bit better.
Popsicles.
Or maybe you like popsicles or ice cream cones. These are all products available to you.
Toaster tarts.
All of those. And what's great about them is that they're perfect for any occasion.
Indeed.
Did you reset the settings on your laptop for the screen to go to sleep?
I didn't. But it may have done that because I had to restart it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm not used to it even dimming a little bit. Usually this thing is like, I don't know, it's like a lighthouse, it's just on all the time.
Yeah, my
lighthouses aren't on all the time.
No, they aren't.
I need to think of a light that stays on all the time. Like an emergency exit sign. It's just on all the time.
My keyboard froze up the other night and I had to force shut down the whole shebang.
Oh boy.
Which, if you know anything about how I generally operate my computer,
let us know in the chat if you're the kind of person who keeps all your tabs and all your programs open. If you're the kind of person who is running
not all of them.
Let's say hypothetically speaking,
the calculator.
If you're running 9 programs and in your web browser you have 16 tabs, please let me know in the chat if you're living dangerously like that.
I keep tabs open because I genuinely do often go back to them. And anyway.
Shari's in the house, everybody.
I don't need...
Shari's going to settle this
I don't need to defend myself.
You don't need to defend yourself because you are definitely not the only person rolling around on this earth with 17 tabs open in your laptop at all times.
17 is generous.
Jeepers creepers. Yeah. Okay, and so you're getting that attached over there, it looks like.
Yes. I just did the running stitch to the one end, running stitch back.
Whenever I see the swizzles, they always look like little candy canes to me. I realize they're not candy canes.
A couple of them.
But they have that kind of they have that kind of shepherd's crook look.
They do. They do have that vibe, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Tilly's been rhyming lately, so now I'm rhyming.
Oh, yes, she has. Oh, yes, she has.
Oh, Shelly says I'm a tab open queen.
See?
I just want to know if that's a constitutional monarchy or not, if that's what that means. Okay. Shari's, we know you close the tabs, Shari. I close the tabs, I close the programs, and my laptop auto restarts each evening. There you have it, folks.
I can't. I cannot.
See, because I grew up, I love telling I love to toss an early childhood story out for my mom when she gets home to watch this later.
Indeed.
I grew up in a household where we shut the computer down every night, and then you had to open the cabinet door, reach in there with your hand, and turn off the power strip that powered the entire operation. There was a power strip that the computer was plugged into, and the printer was plugged into, and the hard drives and the modem, everything was plugged in.
I figure if my brain doesn't turn off, gosh darn it, my computer isn't getting a break either.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Now, the swizzles on the donut, they are slightly different shapes. So you just have to kind of figure out which one fits in which spot. Sorry, I keep trying to...
Or maybe you're like a food truck donut shop and the swizzles are just, they're all over the place. You know, your donuts could be a little bit more...
Well, there are, the set holes do fit best with one and then the other.
Sure, but if you want your donuts to look a little bit more, you know, cranked out, I don't think rustic's the word.
Isn't it?
No, because there's nothing rustic about like making a dough, shaping it into a ring, dropping it in a vat of oil, pulling it back out, decorating it like.
I just remember rustic being a word that I was once told to keep my cookies looking like at a particular restaurant.
Oh, well, cookies are not donuts. See, that's the problem, right? A cookie is not a donut, so.
I suppose, sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, when I swizzle something that I have baked at home, I think rustic is the nicest way I can explain. My swizzles are never very artistic. They're always just kind of on there.
I wouldn't say slapdash.
I would.
But that's kind of the vibe, you know? We need to get our thesaurus here on the table. Don't mail me a thesaurus, anybody, please.
I am more of a flavor person than a visual person, generally speaking.
I'm not so sure about that, but okay,
really?
I'll leave that one alone.
Okay,
I'll leave that one alone.
There have been cakes in the past for Tilly's birthday that generally do defy that statement, but you know. I
just think that since this isn't the British Bake Off or whatever, we don't have to talk about the various categories of like, I'm a flavor person, I'm a decor person.
Well, if my sister is much more of she is a decor queen, and so I don't think of myself as being...
A whole lot of queens in this chat today, that's
Indeed.
For sure. A lot of queens
here.
Look at that, just like that, boom. You got a couple of shepherd's crooks right there on your donut.
Crooks.
There you go. You're already off to the races.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be pretty simple with this one because we're going to let the polka dots be more of the decor on this particular donut.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, we are going kind of quickly with this.
We got to scatter one of those completed donuts into the shot. If I could reach it, I would have done that myself, but I can't.
Is this not one? Oh, it's not.
Not there. Yeah, there you go. We'll just drift that in.
That's the one we're working on right now. Hopefully I will try and remember to move the donuts that we are working on to the
to just be frame. A little bit off in frame there as we do that, yeah.
So they are a reference, as you will.
Shari says, I need to see this. I haven't made any donuts, but she's eaten a few.
Well, you know.
Well, haven't we all eaten a few donuts?
I do love...
I've never made any donuts myself. I've not been a donut maker.
Okay. Now, for these ones here in the middle...
Uh-huh.
Where both ends are on the edge there...
Sure.
I'm going to... Do I have the right ones in the right places?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Give me a second.
Sharon Betts, I made it to a live. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
You always remember your first. That's for sure. What?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, what just happened there?
What was I? I was going to say something.
I don't know. You lost all train of thought.
You lost me.
Okay.
When the holes are both on the edge there, I'm going to do the thing that I do on the edges of other stuff where I come to the second hole and then I go towards the edge and then I come back. Does that make sense?
Say that all over again.
Oh, now I've lost my... I'm going to... Is this the right one? Shoot. Here. I'm going to come up here to the second hole.
Okay.
And then, so towards an edge and then go back.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
You're going to the second hole, going to the edge, and then you're going the other direction.
Yes.
And all of this is just because you just can't help yourself from plotting strategically every stitch that you're doing.
Every knot.
Every knot.
Yes.
You're being very thoughtful about where the knots are at all times.
Knots on edges.
Uh-huh.
Because then you gotta sew through them and it's kind of a pain in the tuchus. So, generally speaking, if I can avoid a knot on an edge,
that's what you'll do.
That thing.
We have a few more people contributing here. Elaine shuts down their databases and mapping and graphic programs when not in use. Also shut the computer down every night and clear out the cache so the computer runs efficiently the next day. Wow.
I hesitate to tell you what the untitled number in my Illustrator program routinely is.
Yeah. Elaine quintessentially also probably loves the song No Scrubs because she does not want any scrubs in that computer. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. It is just, woo, we're keeping it clean.
Yeah, I routinely, when I start a new document, I'm saying untitled number like 117.
We've got somebody else here who says, on the first snow day of the season, they make homemade donuts.
Ooh.
Wait, is that a snow day for you or is that a snow day for like the other people in the house? That's what I want to know.
That's a fun tradition.
How do I get a snow day at my job? That's what I want to know. Wow, that was a very lengthy silence there. Why are you looking at me like that?
Trying to decide how to respond to the fact that you work 40 feet from our front door.
Oh, boy.
In our own fancy pants barn.
A snow day at our house is, Dad, put on your boots, we're going outside.
Snow day at our house is, can we go outside?
I don't know how Tilly can even see out the upstairs window, but she always knows when it is snowed.
Well, I don't know that it's that window. I think it's when she comes downstairs because our front door.
I feel like she can tell by looking out the top window upstairs. Glass. Yeah, that's way over her head.
She might, but I think she sees it when she comes down the stairs and our front door. She comes down and sees through our front door first thing. I think that's when.
Okay, sorry, I was counting there for a moment. I needed to make sure that I got my counted cross stitch in the right place, but now I think I'm back in business.
All right.
Okay.
All right, here's our last swizzle.
Your last swizzle.
Our last
okay, great.
Swizzle. So again, we're just gonna running stitch these bad boys into place. That's
the first bad boy of the day. When you think of a donut with a pink topping, what flavor is in your head here?
Strawberry.
This is strawberry?
That's what's in my head.
That's what's in your head. Okay, great.
Yes. I was thinking to myself while I was die cutting these, I was thinking to myself, which donuts from Destination Donuts would these be?
Oh, that's a shout out to Destination Donuts there?
Destination Donuts in Columbus, Ohio.
We don't know if anybody in Destination Donuts is paying attention.
I doubt that anyone from Destination Donuts is paying attention, but
I guess we'll have to, you can post it in your stories after the thing is over.
Yeah, do you guys want to sponsor us? That'd be cool.
You can tag them.
You can pay me in donuts.
You can just give them a little tag. Maybe they'll get curious enough when they're not banging out rustic donuts.
They're not rustic.
I know they're not.
Beautiful. Those donuts are wonderful.
Those poor people, they're going to be like, how do we get dragged into this? Leave me out of it.
I was thinking to myself, like, what flavors do I want to create? And I ended up changing my mind a couple of times.
Sharon's on Tilly's side in this. She says she can tell if it snowed usually by just the glow coming through the windows and the curtains. Yeah, that's
what you don't know is that Tilly insists on sleeping with a blanket shoved up in her window, so she can't actually see out the window.
Yeah.
We've tried taking it down a couple of different times, but it's just never dark enough for that kid in her bedroom. So.
Someone else just talking about how they living in rural Tennessee, 2 inches, that's it. We're all home. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, my sister and my mom and several family are down in Tennessee. And my sister, who grew up here in Ohio, is like, you so much as sneeze. And it shuts everything down. All right, so there's our donut.
You're holding it directly underneath your pop-out head.
Oh, cool. Okay, there's our donut.
There's our donut, everybody. There's a topper. Okay, great.
So then we're going to just attach it to the top of the donut, but we're only going to do it along the outer edge because the inner edge is going to get sewed together when you sew your pieces together. Okay. So we're gonna get that color here.
Doing just the outer edge.
That's right. Taffy. I use 776.
Taffy is the darker of the pink colors, the one that we've been stitching the tundra onto.
Correct.
Okay, wow. Great.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. We got a lot of taffy in the mail yesterday. So if you're not following along on Instagram, we received a felt shipment yesterday. Got a lot of the store kind of restocked, and taffy was one of those colors that just appeared to me out of the shipment.
Indeed. Yes, we were waiting on that order for quite a while, so several things came back in stock yesterday.
Okay, so what would you call this top layer that you've been putting the rickrack onto there?
That's not rickrack, it's the swizzle, and it's the frosting layer. Perhaps.
Okay, so the frosting layer. So you put the swizzle on the frosting.
Yes.
And now you're putting the frosting onto the donut.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You can start anywhere. There's no corners or anything, so we're just going to start, and then we're going to use a running stitch all the way around for this as well. And there is nothing particularly fancy or challenging about this.
You're running stitch this here, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, I'm running stitching this.
I'm not sure what other stitches might be appropriate here.
I suppose you could probably back stitch if you wanted to. I will say, if you didn't want to use the swizzle, if you wanted to make it a little more dainty or petite, you could use the holes only die and use like a chain stitch.
Uh-huh.
Or like a whip stitch or something to make a little bit narrower of a...
Have we whip stitched on this program?
Yes, the very first one.
How many times have I asked this question?
A couple.
How come you've left the whip stitch behind ever since?
It just takes time.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I've tried to show a couple of... I've done the chain stitch here.
But the beading needle is making its appearance in the Pashtaverse today. That's what I heard earlier.
Indeed.
Because there's going to be some bugle beads.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
I feel like I've used it once before, but maybe not.
I'm not so sure. I don't recall. At least if it happened, we didn't make such a big deal about it.
I don't know why we're making a big deal about it now.
Because it's not something that happens every week here on Stitching Live with Lizzie and Sean. Thanks again for joining us. If you just got here, that's Lizzie. I'm Sean. I gestured with my head in my little circle to the left.
Which
because
you realize people may not be able to see.
Yeah, but of course they don't know that. So I should that's Lizzie up there. There you go. How? Is that better?
I guess.
You know, the one thing we haven't done is gone like full Brady Bunch in these circles before. You know, just like...
In my brain bucket, you're just to my right.
I just can't believe that when I mentioned that I started doing it and you did nothing.
I'm sorry. Just like, I'm trying to sew for the people.
I'm also sewing for the people. This is me. I've got the Aida cloth and I'm stitching away right now.
It was stuck in my head for like 3 days.
Jeepers creepers! I just can't believe I dropped that. It was a total softball that I dropped there.
It was, and
right
in the
heart of the plate.
It dropped right in the heart of the plate.
Instead of lowering your shoulder and putting it over the left field wall, you just kept stitching. Oh my god!
It's called Stitching Live, not Comedy Hour with Lizzie and Sean.
Okay, well, turns out, swing and a miss, folks. Swing and a miss.
How many more baseball metaphors can we get into this?
Would you like me to just start sprinkling them in?
No, I would not, because this is the thing you could do forever.
Yeah, well, you know, here I am just trying to have a cup of coffee here, sitting next to you.
Oh, come on.
And getting after it.
I'm going to start messing with you and using my fake versions of the things.
No, don't do that. Okay, so you're stitching this frosting layer around.
Yes.
With the petal dot. Now, poor Victoria is jealous of somebody that has... She said that she discovered Pashta design in their post-dot age.
It's not our post-dot age. We just couldn't get it for a long time. And now we should be... I was chastised for calling it imminent. But
I love that it's just a post phase, right? Like post...
It's not
post classical.
It wasn't intended to be post.
Post-modern.
All right.
Post-dot. Our post-dot phase.
It was not intended to be post. It just... worked out that way.
Oh, someone says, speaking of the Brady Bunch, today is the birthday of Jan.
Oh, is it?
The actress who played Jan. It's her birthday today.
Fun.
She would be 67 years young today.
Indeed.
There you go.
Well, there you have it.
Till one day when this lady met this fellow.
Sure. Okay, so I've just doubled back, and I'm going to go and fill in all of my open stitches.
Okay. And once you're done with that, you're not doing any embellishing on this one. Is that correct? No,
on this one I'm just going to leave it this way.
And that's great. So you could put these donuts together without like beading or any like sequins or anything like that.
I mean,
we're coming up on like, it's been about 24 minutes since we started, but it took us about 4 minutes to really kind of get going. It's like 30 minutes to get a donut put together.
Yeah.
Boom, just like that.
Just like that.
And the thing about the donut, it's like, it'd be the perfect thing. You could make this thing like a zipper pull. You know, the scale of these donuts.
It'd be really cute as a zipper pull on like a kid's backpack.
Absolutely. Like the scale of the donuts, I don't know how well people can tell by, you know, what you've got there, but they're such a tasteful size.
Well, thank you.
In the world of felt related things. I don't know what else we have around that we could show, you know, to compare the size to. Like, I guess I have a cellular phone. If you really wanted to see, like, we could chuck this into there like that. You get a sense, like, they're just, you know, they're not the biggest things in the world in a really good way. Why are you moving my phone around?
Because it was in my way.
You were touching it like it was diseased. Okay, I'll reward it. I discovered Pashta design during their dot drought.
Dot drought is right.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a dot famine, but it was a little bit of a drought there.
We will get them back. We will.
We will.
It is in process.
If you are stitching along with us today, we've not yet done a roll call, so if you want to just drop in the chat what project you might be working on. I've been chugging away on this cross stitch that if you didn't join us last week, my dad asked me to do a cross stitch for a birthday present for a buddy of his. So I'm working on this. It's coming together here. You can't really see. It's just got a nice little border, and we got some nice colors there, and so I'm just cruising along with that. So
Indeed.
Now you know what Lizzie and Sean are working on. We want to know what you might be stitching today. And if you're playing hooky at work, you have to tell us that too, okay? If you're working right now, you got to tell us I'm at work, okay? Ooh, what happened? Did you poke yourself?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Got myself.
Busy bees. Someone's stitching some busy bees right now. That's
fun.
great. That's awesome to hear.
I love those bees.
Busy Bees was one of the cease and desists I sent last night. So that one has been taken care of. That's right. Organizing my sewing closet. It's a mess, and I need to know where to find stuff.
Yeah, I understand that.
Uh-huh. Someone's in the UK fixing dinner. No stitching until later. Okay, all right. That's fine. I'll allow it.
Fair enough.
Now I'm looking straight to the clock. Like, what time is it over there?
I like to finish my day with a bit of stitching as well.
Someone is stitching their first ice cream cone while they're sitting at the deck, and we've got our first person playing hooky. Someone is still working on snowflake ornaments. That's insane. Victoria says she's got 14 done, but she has 38 more to go.
Wow, that's a lot of
That's
ornaments.
52.
I would love... I've debated whether or not the kids in Tilly's classes from here on out are going to get ornaments for Christmas. Because...
So many ornaments.
It's so many ornaments. 14 was a lot, and that was this year. And I think it's going to be at least 20-some.
You're probably right about that.
Kindergarten class next year.
Shari's at work, but she stitched up some needle books last night for her class this weekend. That's right. Got a little drive going on.
Michigan, I think?
Someone's hedging by saying, I'm at work right now, but I am on my lunch break.
Well, there you go.
Okay, they're hedging. Your lunch break. We're on to you. We totally get it. Your lunch break.
Our frosting layer is added here, so I'm just going to tie this off real quick.
Yeah, look at that. So, you know, that was almost exact. That was less than 30 minutes so far. So this is going to be, I'm on my third polka dot egg. That sounds great.
Fun. Is that Shahrazad? She shared a
polka dot. Indeed, that's right. You got it.
She shared a polka dot egg on Instagram, and I saw it and I liked it, but I have not commented because I have just been a little bit preoccupied. This morning, Tilly and I were.
Someone says they're trying their hand at embroidering some Mother's Day cards. That's great.
Fun. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, someone else says that they are embellishing a wall hanging with the gathered garden dies.
Ooh.
We got a flower garland happening, and Mary Kobe is finishing a cross stitch as well. Look at that.
That's fun. Tilly and I were playing match game this morning.
Go ahead.
And so my ability to get anything accomplished this morning has been greatly impaired by... But the thing I like about the match game that we have, that we were playing with today, is that it's like all famous women throughout history.
Oh, okay.
And so if there was somebody she had not yet heard of, we would stop.
You have to stop and read the card.
And read the card.
Yeah, read the card, yeah.
And then she'd get to learn about a famous woman in history.
We have someone has entered the chat and has some questions about the spelling of donuts. And I'm not going to name any names, but his initials are Andy Newberry.
Yeah.
Yeah, wants to know. In Newberry, we talked about the spelling early on. We had to make a decision, okay, bro? We had to make a decision with donuts, and this is the one that we went with. Everyone, it made its way out of committee.
Too late, sir.
Someone says once the kits start arriving, they're going to stitch ornaments for hubby's employees. 30 plus.
Wow.
Wow.
That's very impressive. And we are working on it. I've been filling bead kits. Everything is ordered. Dyes are on their way. Someone
said they were stitching the donut last night watching TV, so this is great. That's good. Wow, look at that. Donuts were just in the air.
I love donuts.
In our hive mind, in our Pashtaverse hive mind. Yeah.
Okay, now it's time to line up the outer edge and the inner circle.
Uh-huh.
To make sure that everybody's gonna work out here.
If you're in the chat right now, I consider you both to be the outer edge and the inner circle. Yeah. Just to be clear, everybody here is all part of that.
All right, inner and outer are lined up.
There we go. And then you're just going to stitch those things together.
I'm going to start between the two layers.
Uh-huh.
Come up through. Leave enough of a tail that I can reach it when I go to tie it off.
All of a sudden, I'm wondering if, like, the blanket stitch would at all make the donut look like... Remember those kinds of donuts that always had the real kind of bumpy, jagged edges? What are those called? Not like a cruller that has, like... Not like the ones that are like looking real twisty, but I remember like kind of store-bought donuts that used to have like a real kind of rough edge on them.
I have no concept of what you're talking about. Like
really?
The crumb donuts?
No, not like a crumb donut, like a store. Hang on. Everybody can tell from the typing. Yeah, store-bought. Talk about something else.
We're just sewing around the edge. I am sewing right over the swizzles. Just to make sure that they get nice and secured down. Because once you stuff it, you can't really, once you stuff it, it's, it all blends in a little bit. So.
I don't know that they have a name. I'm just thinking about like, these old chocolatey donuts, like these old glazed, like kind of chocolatey cake donuts.
They're just cake donuts.
Yeah, right? But there are some that for some reason always just seem particularly bumpy, like bumpier than most.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know about that. Okay. 28 Christmas already stitched for gifting to colleagues.
Wow.
Christmas puds? PUDs?
Puddings.
Puddings. Okay, I may start on skulls or pumpkins next. Have you ever considered selling just the sequins in the beads? That's a good question. And it's something that, consider is probably not the word. It's come up in brainstorming. And the challenge is just, we have so many. We have so many beads. And over the years, the quantity and the types and the varieties of beads and sequins that we have used
is
so
make
vast.
Things easier on myself. And just, no. I like the variety, so I... But as far as just the bead kits themselves... No, by themselves as opposed to like as part of a color story. It's the time involved.
Thus far, we haven't solved it.
No.
I don't think there's a time where like individual beads or sequins, I cannot imagine that being a thing that we would ever decide.
We have talked about it, but it's just the time involved makes it not really a
little bit different, yeah. Victoria is applauding Sharon, by the way, for getting their Christmas gifts done, because then the rest of the year you get to stitch, what you want to stitch.
Well, I always want to stitch Christmas, so.
Well, I understand that, and I know how many of our
yow.
Wow, you're right over there.
I really got myself that time. Yes.
I know how many of our crafters like to stitch Christmas too, because I'm packing all these Christmas orders all the time, getting them out the door.
Indeed.
Christmas.
Well, and I spend a fair bit of my time drawing Christmas. So
yeah.
I understand as well. And until very recently, I was also the one packing up every order and getting those out the door before Mr. Steve showed up every morning.
Stitch Christmas. I wish I knew the rest of the words to that one.
I don't know.
We'd go full parody if you wanted to.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
He does love a parody.
Now we're talking.
All right. So
all right, what?
I was going to speak.
Oh, go ahead.
We're just going around the center hole.
Okay.
You don't want to wait until the end to do the center one because it's a lot harder to get your fingers in and out of where you need to go.
You're saying you're stitching the center hole first?
Yes.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then you stitch the outside edge.
Now we have folks reminding us that Christmas is a year-round craft. That's right. Never too many Christmas ties. We get that. We totally get that.
We have 2 Christmas releases a year because I cannot not.
Mm-hmm.
I've got so many ideas for Christmas.
So many Christmas ideas and decor all around. That's right.
All over the place.
All over the place.
All right.
So you stitch the center first.
Yes.
And now you're going to start stitching the outside.
I'm going to.
You're going to double back. Oh, got it. Okay.
No, I already did that part.
And then when you start the outside, that's when the stuffing of the donut begins.
Correct.
Okay. Liz, how was your trip to your home county? Andy wants to know. We took a day trip this weekend. We took a day trip.
It's not actually my home county, dude. I was born in Lima.
Well, yeah, okay. Now hang on. Slow down a second here. We're not trying to parse all this stuff. But yeah, we took a little day trip this weekend and went all the way back home with Tilly.
Where I graduated from high school.
Yeah, Tilly had never been there before, so she had seen the house.
On my face.
She had seen the house where I grew up. She had not seen one of the houses where Lizzie had grown up,
which is now blue. It was not blue when I was there.
Yeah, Newberry, they painted the house blue, which is incredible because after we moved out of our house, the people who bought it painted it blue.
Also painted it blue.
And as we're rolling up to your house, Tilly's like,
I gotta fix my hair. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Tilly's like, we want to see the blue house? And I was like, sweetheart, we've told you 6 times.
We are not going to
We're not going to the blue house today. The blue house is in this town. We're in this other town. We're not going to go see the blue house today.
Then we pull up.
And we roll up to the curb and the
blue.
house was blue.
I know. I guess we were going to the blue house.
She knew more about it than we do, obviously. Yeah, she had a sneaking suspicion. Yeah,
that it would be blue.
I couldn't believe it. It's like, okay, sweetheart, you're right. It's a blue house now. Okay. All right.
Yes. The blue house. All the blue houses. Okay. Now,
of course, Newberry's asked me that question because we didn't have a ton of time to chat about it on the phone yesterday. As we were hanging up, I was like, I'm going to have to call you back. I got more stuff to tell you. And he says, call anytime. Call anytime. Call anytime. So I called last night. He did not answer. So I don't know what any time means. He's more concerned about how to spell donut than he is with the concept of any time.
Well,
yeah.
It happens.
Look at that. I made my way through a whole thread there.
There you go.
Oh, boy.
I am using 819. Whoops.
There you are. 819 is your color for petal?
My color for petal.
Okay.
It's a very pale pink.
And you're stitching, is it all going to be pink or it's going to be brown? No, the original donut was brown.
Yeah, the original was brown. I'm doing this one in pink.
Got it. What brown was that? Was that walnut you've got up there?
Yep. That one's walnut.
That was walnut. Okay, so that donut was on walnut.
Yes.
Just going to help you there.
Right.
There we go. No, that's no apologies necessary.
Okay. So we're just going to do the same thing on the outside edge that we did on the inside edge. You're going to come between the layers. And you're going to start sewing around the edge using a running stitch. But the difference is that we will be pausing every so often to add stuffing. I mean, you could leave them flat. Let's be honest. They're really cute flat. But I'm going to add some stuffing. Because I want to. And
some of my thread has gotten tangled with your thread.
Well, that's...
So I'm trying to get it together over here.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, there is more of this table. I suppose I could... We
could
rearrange things so that we aren't all smooshed into this one quadrant. But...
Then that's going to be the next live is us just rearranging the table.
Actually, the next live won't be next week because...
Oh, that's right. There will be no... sorry to disappoint you all, but we will unfortunately not be able to have our regularly scheduled live next week.
Right.
As I will be spending the day as an assistant voting location manager working the polls. So next week is the primary election here, and I will be gone all day helping people cast their ballots. Yeah,
he will be helping facilitate voting.
I think I just stitched. Oh no, wait, what happened here?
Okay, so I'm gonna take a piece of crochet thread here. I'm gonna loop it around to where the ends are all connecty.
Yeah.
Where they meet, and then I'm just gonna tie a knot to make a hanger.
Great. I think I just stitched that whole last thread. I think I was using 2 or 4 strands instead of 3. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I went to put this one in and it only has 2 strands.
I don't know what to say.
Well, what I'm going to say is I'm going to cut another strand and get back to it.
Go to 4?
Yeah, no, going to go back to 3.
Okay. All right. So I've stitched just a little ways here. I'm going to add in my hanger. You just slip that knotted crochet thread between the 2 layers of felt. And sew through it. And then for the next hole, sew to this side of it. And then when you're on your way back around, you'll sew through the middle again, and that will lock in your
hanger.
Your hanger.
Even further.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty solidly in there now, but yes, going through it a second time helps really make sure it's not going to go anywhere. So we're going to go a little ways here, and then we're going to start putting in some stuffing.
Well, how many ways would you say? Because now that since it's a perfect circle, we could talk about it from the standpoint of degrees. You could say you're going 90 degrees.
A quarter of the way around.
So that would be 90 degrees.
Sure.
Oh, I hear you. You're reaching into the bag there. You're rifling through some plastic.
Indeed I am.
I didn't realize I had a plastic bag down here. I could just.
Don't. Oh.
I could just at any time, like.
And it occurs to me just now.
What?
I do not have a skewer, but I do have a mechanical pencil.
Oh boy. Okay, this is your If you don't have a skewer or an old chopstick for stuffing your felt or your fluff.
Use a mechanical pencil.
Ye old Bic mechanical pencil is always there for you. Turns out. Always there for you.
I usually do have a skewer. Or like a little piece of dowel. In fact, I know I have one in this room. I just didn't think to grab it before.
You're not allowed out of the chair until the stitching's over.
I know, I can't get out of the chair because of the camera placement.
Oh, so. Absolutely. Yeah, you're in there.
So
you're locked in. Totally locked in.
And we're going to come at it from the other side here, too.
What do you mean, come at it from the other side?
Well, it's a tube. So I'm just going to...
You're putting fluff in on both edges of the opening right at this point in time? Okay.
It's not...
And how do you know when you've got the right amount of fluff? We had a whole fluff conversation when we did the little hens. This is why I looked. I learned about what was it that people were putting inside? They're putting some other felt stuff inside there, right? Like
roving.
I was going to say selvage, but I knew that wasn't the word.
No.
There was some roving that was going in there. How would you describe when you know you've got enough stuffing inside there?
It's just whatever feels good.
Yeah, but how do you want it to feel? You want it to feel, it should feel like, if this was like a sleep number bed, like what are we talking about here?
This, because they're such small things, it's more of an extra firm situation. Something bigger like the chickens, I don't, the hens, I don't stuff quite as much.
Okay.
It's a little softer.
So this you want to be a little bit more stuffed.
I prefer them a little more stuffed.
Like a donut, like a cake donut.
Yes, I am more of a cake over a yeasted in this situation.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got enough stuffing in there now. I'm just going to keep sewing around, and I'm going to stop every, I don't know.
Shari wanted to know if your dowel was in your stitching tackle box.
I do have a stitching tackle box. Yes, there is one in there. There's also one in this room. It's got like a bin of little bits and bobbles that I use.
It's a bits bin?
It's a bits bin, yes.
Okay.
And so I've got some in there too. But
you're doing this with such this is really like a delicate thing. I would have never guessed you would have spent this much time stuffing just 1/4 of this donut.
I stopped stuffing. Now I'm sewing again.
Oh, well now, what are you talking about? You're sewing it. I looked over and the pencil is in your hand. You can't fool me.
That's my needle. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm watching the screen, which is lagging a little bit.
The pencil is under my hand.
Yeah, no, I'm saying on the screen you hadn't put it down yet. That's great.
That's funny.
Newberry says vanilla glazed over chocolate glaze all day long. Okay, that's fine.
Right?
That's fine.
Nobody's gonna yuck your yum, Newberry.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, because you love a great like apple.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love a great like fruit.
Like a turnover.
Forward. That's not a turnover. It's a fritter.
Sorry, a fritter. That's what I'm looking for. A good old apple fritter.
But that's not so much a donut. That's a fritter.
Look, man, if it's at the donut shop and it's on the wall or in the case, it's a donut. Okay? Anybody else, you in the chat, you can go ahead and let me know what you think about this. But if you go to the donut shop, I'm used to the donut shops, right, that are also diners.
Yes.
So I'm not saying everything in the donut shop is a donut. But if it's on the wall with the donuts or in the case
with the donuts,
then it's a donut, okay? Anybody else want to chime in? I'm here for it. I can take the abuse.
No one's going to abuse.
Oh no, there could definitely be some. There are probably some really hot opinions.
I'm sure there are opinions about what constitutes a donut.
What constitutes a donut, and I'm here for them. So please go ahead and regale me with that.
I do appreciate a fritter. Yes.
What about a maple glaze, Newberry? You like when I think about glaze, I think about a little mapley in there is what I'm talking about. A little maple glaze. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm sure eventually we'll get into sprinkles versus no sprinkles. I'm sure that'll be a conversation
who doesn't love a sprinkle?
Well, I don't know. This donut's got. This donut has no sprinkles. That's right.
This donut has a swizzle. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
However, we will get to sprinkles.
I hope so.
We will.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's enough. We'll add some more fluff. There we go. So yeah, just do a little bit at a time. You don't want to.
We got one vote for the maple glaze. That's what we're talking about.
You don't want to go around so far that you can't get your. What?
Go ahead.
You can't get your stuffing utensil, your implement, where it needs to go.
Lots of tips about stuffing. Oh yeah, I already put that in there. Okay. Newberry currently says his favorite. He's been on a little bit of a toasted coconut.
I do love a toasted.
He's been a little toasted coconut run.
There
lately.
used to be a donut place in the town near us where you could like choose your own toppings and they would make it fresh for you.
Oh, of course, yeah, one of those places.
I liked that place, but it did not survive.
Oh, it didn't last very long at all.
No, it did not.
I'm always a fan of just the pure powdered sugar donut because I love the death trap aspect of the whole thing.
Can you eat it without choking on it?
Yeah. Whether you're talking about a carrot stick or a powdered sugar donut, I'm looking for the inhalation of nutrients.
You like the added challenge of the can you not die while you're eating this thing?
Mary Kobe coming in hot saying chocolate glaze on vanilla cake, please. Sprinkles are for felt. Ow! Does not want.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I feel like if you don't like sprinkles on the donut, you're probably a person who has had people eating donuts in your car and you're just over it. Stop eating donuts in my car. The sprinkles are everywhere. I'm not into it at all.
If our child sees a sprinkle, it's over. That is the one. That is definitely the one.
Going for it. Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a donut place on my bus route that on certain days of the week, it must have been Saturdays or something, they had donuts that were the kids' special donut that had like eyeballs on them. They had like sugar eyes and sprinkles. And I don't think I ever got to partake in that particular joy myself, but I do recall it being a thing.
I remember there being like the sugar eyeballs on like ice cream cones at the ice cream place that we would go to with my grandparents. That was also a mini golf place. Shout out. My grown-up boys still choose sprinkles. Mary's children, they're young at heart.
Hey. They're younger than we are, in general. In reality. Okay, sure. And I would also consider myself young at heart.
I also consider myself young at heart, yes. But let's be real. Due to the fact that we don't eat eggs or dairy typically in this household,
the sprinkle or the
whatever donut appears to us is the donut that we're
donut
eating.
is what
yeah.
we're
If the
eating,
donut's
yeah.
on the menu, okay.
They're
Blueberry cake, sour cream donuts, but also a plain Krispy Kreme is one of the best. Okay, so Shari, who closes her tabs every night without fail, can't narrow her favorite down to a single donut. There we go.
I understand. Okay. There's a donut vendor at our local farmers market. And they always have regular and vegan donuts.
Sure.
And I sincerely appreciate that they often have options, because I come home with like a little sampler box of all of the vegan options that they have.
Right. That way you can raise the next generation of American children who are like, oh, did you go to the farmer's market? Where's the donut?
Where's the donut? Yeah.
Not, did you go to the farmer's market? What did you bring home from the farmer?
Now, hold on a second.
Hold on a second, what?
This same kid will often walk through the farmer's market eating a pepper. So
a little amuse-bouche.
A little amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche from the chef.
The apple guy makes it his like job to give her an apple every week. So she's
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Something that is not a pepper walking through. And it's great advertising for that guy. Because he's like, here, you want to eat a...
Well, we've done donuts and we've done apples, but you haven't done a bell pepper die just yet.
That's true.
I'll
add it to the list.
This is the Tilly Farmers Market collection.
Alrighty. I'm just going back around now.
So all the stuffing that you want to have in there is in there.
Yes. It does not take a lot for these donuts, because they are, there's not a huge amount of space in there.
Sure. What are we going to do with this donut when we're done with it?
I've got a hanger on it, so it's going to go on the tree downstairs.
Oh, it's going to go on the tree. What is the tree now?
Well, right now it's still a weird mishmash of Easter things.
Yeah, but what is the tree now? So it was Christmas.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's just like a springy joyfulness.
So you're really going for a year-round tree is what? We're just having this out right now while we're live on YouTube.
Yes.
It's just a year-round tree now?
It always has been.
It has been?
Yeah.
I feel like there have been moments where the tree has gone away.
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Okay.
There was no point at which we did not have a tree last year.
Mary says, we've got carrots and pumpkins. There you go. Hello, Jenny. Someone's saying sorry because they joined us just now. If you are coming into the stream late, you never have to apologize.
No, not at all.
You don't have to apologize at all. And I say that mostly because I'm usually finishing lunch at about 12:54 before we go live at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So
it's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Here we go. What? You're about to finish it off? You're going to give us a tip for burying your thread at the very end, or what?
I think I have a goofy knot that I need to shove into the...
Oh, I've avoided all knots today so far. Elaine says corn. There we go. Now we're talking farmers market buys over here, I think, is what's going on.
I do love the corn at the farmers market.
Oh yeah, the corn at the farmers market. Absolutely.
So good.
So good. And the reason why, of course, is because the sugars in the sweet corn, they degrade after they've been picked.
Right. And so the farmer that we get corn from, generally speaking, they pick it in the morning.
It's not even like the day before.
At sunup.
They go in the dark.
Before sunup, they go in the dark.
And they're picking the
pick
corn.
it at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you can buy it at like 8. And it's awesome.
And there you go. And every hour you delay in shucking and eating it, you're making the experience a little bit worse. So you got to eat that corn quick. This is why corn in the grocery store tastes so different, because they're picking it and it's sitting on a shelf somewhere for a long time. Mm-hmm. Someone wants to know if there's any citrus on the horizon. I'm looking at the horizon right now. All I see is a cat napping in a tower. I don't see any citrus on the horizon right now.
Do not have a citrus coming yet. It's on the list, everybody. It's on the list. It's just not here yet. The question for me with citrus is, do you design the die and put it out when citrus is in season?
Uh-huh.
Or
do
you design the die and put it out when people most often think of citrus?
Oh boy.
Those are two completely different times of year. because most people are thinking citrus like during the summer with like tropical flavors and colors and stuff.
Hey, no fair, Audrey. Audrey is asking for the citrus as well, but she didn't even say hi today. She's just coming straight in hot with
Well, Audrey also lives in Florida. So
Tracy's made a motion and Audrey has seconded it here. We got full on Roger rules of order here in the chat.
Mr. Jones, interrupter pants.
Sorry, interrupter pants.
What I was going to say was, citrus is in season in the winter time. But most people are not thinking of like oranges and lemons in the winter time. They're thinking of it in the summer. And so the question for me is like, well,
when release it?
When do you release it?
I mean, I would imagine are we supposed to talk about this right now or not? Like, is this a safe space? Just be brainstorming dye related ideas?
I suppose.
Well, I would just, because, I would release the lemon in the summertime for something lemonade related. Like that's what I would, if I was gonna drop the lemon out there.
If you were gonna drop a lemon, you'd put it in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think of...
what about an orange?
I think of orange, I think of oranges in the wintertime because I'm always thinking about those caracaras when they show up.
But that's when all the citrus are most
there, yeah.
available. And I don't think most people are thinking of oranges in the middle of December.
You could always release a pomelo die. It would be the largest die we've ever made. How about that? Just like a life-size
Here's
pomelo.
A bowling ball.
Here's
pomelo.
A bowling ball, yeah. No, the bowling ball is the details kit that comes out in the summer. The pomelos in the winter. Turns out we didn't sell that many pomelos, but gosh darn it, people love this bowling ball die.
They love the bowling ball details.
Half the chat has got their thumbs out trying to figure out what a pomelo is right now.
It's a giant fruit.
They didn't really start making an appearance here for a long time. Felt is in season at any time, and I agree with summer lemon. See, Mary and I have a lot in common,
Yes.
We're cross-stitchers.
Indeed.
We're summertime lemon people.
Well, I think that people would do it in the summer, but...
We have 4-letter first names?
In my brain, it's... Here's my little tip for cleaning up your fuzzy bits, because there's always fuzzy bits. I just trim them off instead of trying to pull them out. And it does the same job, and you don't have to be pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling.
Actual stitching question for the Pashtaverse. Do people no longer use thimbles? What's up with that?
I don't know anything about thimbles.
Okay, well, don't worry. Wait, if Deb's still here, stop organizing your closet for long enough to let us know if you use a thimble, because Deb usually is the one who is first at the finish line with stitching stuff.
Here's the donut.
There are the donuts.
Swizzle.
Look at that.
Here's the donut with the swizzle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's how you put all the fancy bits together.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Next, let's do this one. And we'll do some beading too.
We're gonna do some bugle beading.
Yes.
If you're joining us now, you're here at the right time.
But we're not doing that yet.
What?
We gotta stitch the layer on first.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I've been waiting now 57 minutes and 43 seconds.
You're gonna be okay.
I'm not so sure. Okay.
The first step is line up your layers.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. We are lined up. And then we're going to get some thread. I'm using 3832.
I know I could count on you. Deb almost always uses a thimble. Thank you, Deb.
I'd rather just stab myself in the fingers, I guess.
Mary says she got a tangerine in the toe of her Christmas stocking. That also happens around here.
Yes.
Deb says, Andy, most quilters use them still. I'm glad to hear that. Look at that.
There you go. I'm sorry, not 3832. 3836. 3832, I believe, is rouge.
Oh, what number are you using?
3836. Oh, it's underneath the 3836.
3836.
Yes.
Which is your lavender. Color for lavender.
I'm using lavender because, as I said, I was thinking to myself, what flavors would I want from Destination Donuts? And they have like a blueberry lavender icing that they put on some of them.
So in your head, you're about to stitch some blueberry lavender.
It's like a lemony donut with, theirs. It's like a lemony donut with like a blueberry lavender icing.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I had in mind here. And I'm using lavender and barley together for this.
Deb says she's also trying to teach the participants in her sewing group to use them. Look at that. There you go.
I have honestly no clue how to use them.
Hey, Melanie's in the chat. She's the thimble too. There you go.
Lined up.
All right, Newberry. There you go.
All right.
People are using thimbles, man.
Find our... Here we go. Here we go.
I'm also with TR, who's been cross-stitching forever and just being careful not to bleed on the fabric.
That's, yeah. I cannot for the life of me, all of a sudden, figure out where the thingy is.
Where what thingy is?
The lined up. I know it fits because there's only one way.
So the whole time we're over here talking about thimbles, you're trying to get your stuff lined up?
Yeah, well, there we go.
There we go.
I was threading my needle, and now, so we're just going to do the running stitch, but again, you're just going to do it on the outside edge of your icing.
Okay.
Because you're going to do the center when you sew up your donut.
Got it.
So we're just going to do a running stitch.
So once you're into the center, that's 3 layers. You've got frosting layer, top layer, back layer.
Well, you can do a donut, and we'll do one. You can do a donut without any, like, if you were to do like a glazed donut with sprinkles, right?
Uh-huh.
It would just be, you would cut 2 pieces of this.
Okay.
And then do your sprinkles, and then, but right now we're going to do
there you go.
The frosting layer.
Okay.
In fact, I have an example.
I'm not sure that you're going to get done with as many donuts on the live today as you think.
Only doing the top.
Okay, only doing the top. Okay, I just want to make sure. Sharon says she has a thimble that she made for herself from copper because she makes silver jewelry as a hobby.
Cool.
Look at that. Custom thimbles, huh? Custom thimbles.
Custom thimbles.
Not worrying about any kind of one-size-fits-all situations there. No.
Okay. We are stitching with the running stitch. I'm glad Cheddar is with us today.
And so then when you do the beading, the bugle beading, it's going to be going through 2 layers of felt.
It is.
And that's unusual. Usually when you're beading, you're only going through 1 layer of felt.
Yeah, but this way you don't have all those knots underneath your frosting layer that you got to deal with. They're going to be all the way inside the whole donut. So
that's why. So you don't want the knots to be underneath the frosting layer.
You could do it either way.
You could do it either. Okay.
It's just personal preference. But
everyone is here because they want to know your personal preference.
This is my personal preference.
They're not here for my receding hairline. They're here because they want to know about your what, bruh?
You keep interrupting me to ask if I'm sure I'm doing things the right way, and I'm telling you how I'm doing things.
I'm only doing that because it's part of my job is to explain what you're doing out here to the YouTube masses.
Yes.
Okay?
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
And because in my past life, my past career,
yes, sir,
part of my job was to understand the difference between, the details that get written into things,
sure,
and all the stuff that's in between the lines, right? All the tips and tricks and little guesses there. I
generally speaking, trying to avoid having to deal with. If I'm beading something, I want the biggest possible thing to bead on, as opposed to fiddling with something small.
Yeah, but I was just thinking usually, right, the beading happens kind of early in the project.
This is kind of early in the project.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because we're just going around and around and around.
When I get done with these little Scrabble tiles, I'm going to be full on back stitching. I don't think I'm not going to be able to back stitch while we're stitching live.
No?
I don't think so. No, way too much thought and energy is going to be involved in that.
Fair enough.
I mean, I suppose like the little borders around these guys I could probably knock out pretty easily, but like the whole rest of this cross-stitch project is just full on like stitching letters with back stitching, and you've got to make sure you get that right.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you.
I know, I'm just filling you in on things that you did not want to know about. 1, 2, yeah, there we go.
Now I'm curious about thimbles, as I have stuck myself.
You're curious about thimbles? You mean like you might get yourself into a thimble?
I don't know that I will, because
my assumption is that thimbles are no longer like made out of just metal. I could be crazy. I realize we're talking about this copper one, but are people still using like a traditional,
I've seen
what we imagine from a Monopoly board thimble?
No,
or they're made out of like silicone now or something? No, not that. Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. I know I've seen them made out of like leather.
Okay.
So they're like a sleeve that goes over your fingertip.
That feels like something you would get at the Renaissance Fair.
Or Michael's.
Deb is right there. Yep, you can use a leather one. Look at that. She is right there on it, man. That's great. Okay.
I'm personally not likely to buy a leather thing, but noted. Now I feel like I need to go find like an old not cone, but
well, they have
cylindrical shape.
Then you got to keep your nail trimmed, don't you?
Yeah, my nails are often not trimmed. My nails tend to get kind of long. They're super long right now because
you don't have to tell people that. They can see it on the camera.
I need to clip them. Well, I'm just saying they are. They're usually shorter than this.
With lavender blueberry over here on this donut.
Lavender blueberry donut.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I just wanted to use another color, and I thought the lavender was cute with this barley.
Yeah. I was going to ask earlier how many people had a favorite local donut shop. Because I thought that would just be a conversation that happened organically. Like, I figured most people, we started talking about donuts and flavors of donuts and toppings of donuts and donut shrimp, donut scampi, popcorn shrimp. You want to get into that?
I love the one that Charlie's Donuts does. That's the folks at the farmer's market. They do one that has a whole buckeye just like right on top. For those of you who do not live in the Midwest or maybe are unfamiliar with a buckeye.
You're taking us right on down the buckeye rabbit hole. Here we go.
It is a chocolate peanut butter confection.
Meant to look like
a buckeye. A buckeye nut, as it were.
And the reason it's called a buckeye is because it looks like the eye of a buck. Of a deer. Yeah, there you go. Okay, full circle. We got it figured out now.
But it is.
They make them out of chocolate and peanut butter, and then they just shove those bad boys.
They put it right in the middle of
right in the middle of a donut. Mm-hmm.
And it is.
It's like a delightful. 2-for-1 there, like a 2-for-1 donut
like a 2-for-1
situation. Yeah.
You can eat the donut and then maybe save the buckeye for after lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Or just go to town. Yeah, it is your prerogative. All right, how far are we doing? You're okay.
How far are we what?
Oh, out of camera.
I think you're doing fine from a camera.
Realizing I may be off camera.
I thought you were looking for a time check there.
No.
Okay.
But what is the time?
Oh, it's 2:07.
Okay.
Yeah, our time. Yeah, well, that's what I tried to tell you earlier.
I'm going.
And you were like, I'm going to get this done. And I was like, it's going well if we're both talking out of the sides of our mouth. It's going well if we're both talking out of the sides of our mouth.
I gotta go get Tilly today, so.
Tara says, no chain shops. We have a local shop has the fluffiest, lightest donuts ever. You can even get them warm. Pennsylvania native and Buckeyes are big there. I didn't know that Audrey was from Pennsylvania. Did you know that?
I do believe I did know that. I think she's over near Philadelphia.
Okay,
What's her origin story there?
I don't know.
I think we've talked about that.
Okay.
Okay. We've got our layer on here.
Great.
So we're just going to do a couple of beads.
Okay.
I have the rainbow sprinkles mix with me here.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
Indeed.
Okay, adding bugle beads. Wait, what is that sprinkle mix you've got there?
The rainbow sprinkle bead.
Where did you get that thing?
From our website.
What
do you mean? Where did I get that?
Adding bugle beads to your donut.
What do I want? Now, if you're doing it on like white, you could just use white. I tend to use the color of thread either that is going to be behind them. In this case, some of the 38, 36. You can also, if you're wanting to make the color really pop, you can use the same color of the sprinkle thread, the same thread that's the color of the sprinkle.
But you said you normally use white.
If they're on white, I will just use white for everything.
Okay.
They're on a color So using like colorful thread isn't going to make a huge difference because the color is going to battle the frosting.
Okay.
It's going to kind of swallow the color in. So what I'm just going to do is use the same
color as
the frosting.
As the frosting. Okay, so the lavender color you've got there.
Yes.
Okay. And how many strands of thread are you going to use?
I'm just using 3.
3. Oh, so 3 goes through the old beading needle and through the bead itself. Okay, I wasn't sure if they were so small.
So the beading needle has a collapsible eye, so you can use as many threads as you want. But 3 goes through fine. 2 goes through fine, whichever you prefer. And I want to use that color. Maybe I do. Here, I'll use this one. So you're just going to come up through your felt.
Okay.
Okay. Then I thread on my beading needle, or thread on my bead.
Uh-huh.
Am I on camera?
You're on camera. Okay, so you come up through your felt. The bead goes on the beading needle.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to come to where I'm going to... And then I'm going to kind of decide which way I want my bead to face.
Okay. You have to orient your bead in a particular direction.
Well, just so I know where it's going.
Uh-huh.
Then I hold the bead in place.
Yep.
And then I put the tip of my needle down and pull it all the way through. So that way the beads go the direction that I want them to. So I'm not guessing at which direction they're going to face. I'm sort of I'm helping orient them.
That's what I said.
Sorry. Sure.
Roll back the tape, everybody. Roll back the tape on that one.
Well, I was trying to...
So you're trying to orient them?
Yes.
Oh, great.
What I was going to say something else, and I forgot the... I'm shaping the path. That's what I was
You're shaping the path.
I am shaping the path.
Yeah, the alternative is what? Not pinching them?
The alternative is you just put your needle down and hope that it's going the direction you want it to. Because once you get it, like for example.
For example.
If I just...
Oh, this is great. We're going to compare and contrast.
Yes.
Okay, show me this
so
instead.
I'm going up.
Pay attention, everybody. We don't often compare and contrast. And we got 32 people in here. What? Go on.
I'm going to put on my bead.
Uh-huh.
And say I'm just going to I'm going to put it down. Let's put it this way. You may end up with like thread showing and because you don't know. Sometimes bugle beads have different sizes, and so this way you I don't know. It's just easier for me to see exactly this one turned out okay. But sometimes you'll have more thread showing than you want, or it won't be going exactly. Say I wanted it a little more angled, but I didn't realize because I wasn't holding the bead exactly the way I wanted it to go. Does that make sense?
Yes. And Shari is right. She said she just got back and this is some serious sprinkle conversation. You're exactly right.
Anyway, that's how I do it. I pull up through.
Uh-huh.
I hold my bead where I want it, and then I put the needle down. Because these are very, very bendy needles.
Okay. So
you can really kind of put your needle exactly where you want it.
You have a lot of precision.
Yes.
Due to the flexibility of the collapsible eye beading needles.
Yes.
That's right.
There are other beading needles that are rigid, and I just don't prefer those because they don't bend and move the way that I...
Sure. And because we're stitching on felt. So it's not like we're not working on a denim jacket.
Right.
Or something,
it
right?
It doesn't have to be. Yes.
Yeah.
The needles that we sell are fine. They do make them in heavier weights, but these are fine, so they go through really easily and well. And anyway, so that's how I place my needle or my beads. I'll do another one here or a couple more.
Okay.
Real quick, and then I'll show you how I do the donut without the frosting. But yeah. The needle, the eye on these is really nice because it's so big you don't even have to really squint to see where where your thread's going.
I'm definitely not squinting.
Sure. So I'm just going to bring the needle up through.
Okay.
Put on your
You're doing great. You're right in the center of that bad boy.
Okay. Decide which direction you want your bead to go.
Okay.
And then bring your needle back down really close to the end of your bead there, and that really just hides the thread as well as you possibly can.
Okay.
Sorry, I realize that you hyped up this whole we're going to be beading thing, and I'm not particularly eloquent.
No, this is great. No one's ever seen you use the,
I feel like I had.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Maybe not, though, I guess.
And plus, you can see so many of the beads on the, you've got the one donut is just a little bit off. It's only halfway on the camera right now, but it's such a great look.
It's really fun.
It's really fun.
I really like the beaded.
The rainbow sprinkle beads on just the plain white top is great.
It shows how colorful they are.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's how you do a few. I'll do one more.
And it certainly drives home that it's in fact a donut.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Bring it up. Slide it on. And place it. And bring down your...
I feel compelled to count how many bugle beads you've got on this other one, just because I don't know.
A lot. I have a lot. I was having fun.
I'll have to start at the top where the hanger is.
I was having a good time with the bugle beads on that one.
That's 24. There are 2 dozen.
2 dozen.
2 dozen, not a baker's dozen, not like a donut dozen.
2 dozen.
All right, so 24 little bugle beads going around
on
that thing
that one, yes.
to make it look just extra nicey nice.
Extra fancy.
Okay.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yes.
I just couldn't get that knotted. Okay, here we go.
Done and done.
All right, so there's some sprinkles.
So now you're moving into a donut with no frosting.
Donut with no frosting.
Okay.
This was not intended to be. When I did these originally, I was not thinking of doing a donut with no frosting layer, just to do the swizzle.
Uh-huh.
So, it was not, it takes a little, I don't want to say it's hard. It's not hard to line up your die the way you want it to work. You can do the swizzle freehand. Like, you don't have to have the pre-cut swizzle holes, because ideally your swizzle continues, the holes line up all the way towards the center. Like, they'll line up all the way to this center ring, because some of the stitching holes are on the center ring. So if you don't cut it exactly, it can be a little tricky, but it's not that hard if you wanted to figure it out. You can do them freehand. Like, you could just like take a whole solid donut and like place them wherever you wanted to place them.
Sure.
And that would be dandy. Or you can kind of...
Victoria's on your side. She says you've used a beading needle before.
I thought so.
Maybe in the floral heart, she says.
Is that where it was? I don't remember.
I don't know, man.
You can kind of line up these 2 dies.
Yeah.
And then sort of use that as a guide. I honestly just sort of like winged it.
Okay. You winged the die cutting of it.
Yes, I winged the die cutting of it. But it can be, because it can be helpful to have the holes on there. But you don't, like, they aren't 100% necessary. You could just freehand it as well. Does that make sense? I realize that I'm sort of...
Die cutting tips for a donut without frosting. That's all I'm typing.
Okay.
And I hope I have the time code correct or even close. There it goes. Yeah,
so
Shari was like, she thought this was some serious sprinkle talk. Now we got some serious frosting talk.
I feel like I could have explained that.
This is my job, man. I take it seriously, Shari.
You do.
Okay.
So this is furrow, and that is ginger snap.
Okay. So this is like chocolate on chocolate. This is like a
caramel on chocolate.
Oh, you said orchid. We almost never have caramel.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you're not a caramel fan at all. Gems. Plus, I always say caramel, so there you go.
Indeed.
Okay.
Like I said, you can just wing it. This got a little off because I had winged it, but the goal is really just try and line them up as well as you can.
Okay.
Oh, it's actually worked out okay. It's pretty forgiving, as long as it's centered. Really, the goal, because you've got the hole there, so you know where the center hole is going to be. That's really the primary. You want to try and line up the center hole as much as you can
when you're doing the die cutting.
Yes.
For the holes. For the swizzles. Okay.
Yes.
We've said that a number of times, I think.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear. But yes.
Okay.
This is exactly the same as you would do it on the frosting layer. You're just going to do it directly to the donut. And you're going to use the same running stitch. And on the one that I did during the intro,
yeah,
which is right here,
that one right there. Yep. Okay.
I then used embellishments around the swizzle to look like sprinkles that were on like a glaze or something.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do just like a whole donut without the swizzle, with the sprinkles on it like a glaze, that would be, I think that would look really cute. But I'm going to move that for just a second so I can get in here.
Okay, so you're saying originally when you designed the set, you did not necessarily think that you would ever do swizzles on top of the donut.
Straight on top of the donut.
Without any kind of frosting layer there.
No, but it works out. And it's cute. And it's because you've got the felt pieces, these felt swizzle pieces are kind of delicate. They're pretty forgiving. They'll stretch and move just a little bit if you need them to. Does that make sense? Like if you need the holes in this at the end to match up with the holes in the center,
yeah,
it'll work out okay.
Yeah, I get it.
But again, I'm just doing a running stitch. But if you wanted something a little bolder, you could go chain stitch. You could go like a whip stitch. And then you'd have a little bit more of a delicate swizzle. But that's all it takes, really.
And you said the embellishment on these was just to kind of give it like a
glazed look, like glazed with the sprinkles that are in the glaze, but not on the swizzle.
Just to give the whole donut kind of some shine.
Yeah, because when you got a clear glaze, like a
what is it that they make clear donut glazes out of? Yeah, how does that even happen?
It's just
like
sugar.
A glazed donut. It's just getting dipped in some kind of molten sugar.
No, not molten. It's like sugar with like probably milk or something.
Okay, that's what's in a glaze.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the Krispy Kreme people are doing.
Yes. Yes. It's just like a really thick syrup.
Ah, like a really thick syrup. There you go. Okay. Which is how the maple glaze works out so nicely.
Well, yeah.
Because earlier I was thinking about maple frosting, but now I'm just thinking about like a straight up maple glaze. And since maple syrup is already a liquid.
Yes, but you need more of a sugar, like a super saturated sugar content, because then it's going to crust over.
Yeah, crust over. Oh, got it. Okay.
So you'd be adding sugar to maple syrup.
Well, why wouldn't you want to add some? Ooh, Tierra Lynn says milk and powdered sugar. Okay, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Powdered sugar. I would have not have guessed that it was a powdered sugar for that.
Why not? It's a small crystal, so it hardens.
Why not? Why not? It's because I haven't
go.
thought about this. That's why not.
There you go.
There
That's
you
what the. So that's what. Ultimately, that's what this looks like. So you can try and use this as kind of a guide. So what I did at one point was like look at, like I found 2 points on 2 sides to make sure that
you're a little high off the camera. Try that again.
Sorry. I found 2 points on 2 sides of the design to kind of get an idea of like, where's the point there? No. There. Like if this hole, which you can assume is at the top of like one of these bump outs, is between those 2 dots.
Okay.
And this hole, which you assume is at the bottom of this bump, is near that dot. You can kind of like eyeball like that-ish.
Got it. You're eyeballing the dies themselves,
yes,
and then taking what you know from doing that eyeballing
and using
that on the shape that you've already die cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Using that information to inform where I place the die.
Before you make the cut.
Yes. But again, if you just want to eyeball it, that also works.
Totally fine.
It's probably easier, honestly.
Eyeballing anything is definitely easier.
No.
Right?
What I'm saying is, if you wanted to freehand the stitches.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It would be easier than trying to like figure out exactly where it's going to line up.
Okay, so that's it, folks. You have permission from the woman who designed the dies to just go ahead and put the dies away for a second and just freehand that.
Honestly, sometimes
real kind of Jesus take the wheel moment there.
Well, sometimes not using the holes only dies is in your favor. Like when you're wanting to put, say, a monogram over top of an embroidered design or something. Like you don't want to use the inline alphabet because you're going to get holes interacting with each other.
You don't want that.
Because
then you get lost, so you know which hole you're stitching into.
You'll get holes that are too big. Scissors.
Okay.
You'll get holes that are too big, and then you've got problems with your design. And
it seems like you're at a good stopping point.
Yes.
Is that the thought that you're? Because
so.
I'm at a great stopping point.
Okay.
I'm at a great stopping point because I've got all my little Scrabble tiles have now been stitched. There you go, little scrabbly tiles. Just gonna make sure. Oh boy, which way do I go? There you go. I'm all cross stitch tastic there.
Sorry, I got a little rambly there, folks.
Why are you sorry about being rambly? It takes what it takes, you know.
It's sometimes I wonder if I'm a little too cavalier with my this is easy, and then somebody's like, wait, I don't understand what on earth you're talking about, and so hopefully I explained it well enough that people were able to follow.
I think everybody in the chat is definitely able to follow, right? Sorry. Chat, if you're not able, don't say anything at all. See, look, they're all able to follow. They did great.
I just hope.
I gave them 1 second to get their thumbs out.
I just hope
that's that. Yeah, okay.
Helpful. Okay.
We're stitching live. We stitched live. Yeah, it's in the past now.
Indeed.
I'm going to end up throwing this little scrapple away. I'll put the camera back on you. Look at that.
Sorry, my hair's in an awkward phase of growth.
It's in its no dot era.
Huh?
Oh my god. Earlier the polka dots, the no dot.
Oh
era.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I tried to do something there. It didn't work.
Dot.
Nah, it didn't work.
No, it's really a pain in the rear end right now, but it's gonna get there eventually. Anyway.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us again. Sorry we won't be here next week.
We made donuts.
We made donuts today. She made donuts today. She made donuts today. I'm stitching a gift. It was great to have you again.
Yes.
Thanks for being with us.
Indeed.
And we'll see you, I believe, in 2 weeks. I'm triple checking my calendar because I know that there's another Tuesday we won't be able to do. But that's not coming up. Oh, it might be 2 weeks in a row.
Is it?
I think we're going to be missing 2 weeks in a row. We might have to move the date around.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it a different day of the week or something.
Oh, speaking of polka dot felt, we've just received a text message that says what color on the white.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you just
how much?
You just gave a big old juicy tidbit.
Everybody thought we were saying goodbye, so they're yeah, there you go.
All right, everybody.
Thank
you so much for joining us.
Oakley dokley.
Oakley dokley.
Okay, see ya. Have a great week until we see you and stitch with you again.
Yes.